These are pillows that we will be releasing next year, but you'll get to see the first preview right now. Boom. There you go. And you can see very subtly it has blush cheeks. I really wanted to try that because I've seen it on stuffed animals and stuff in like the Disney store. Oh, and last but not least, this guy. And we wanted it to have the little tongue flap. Well, 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 look what I have here. I did it. I actually bought a Surface Pro. I forgot to bring my camera and it was so noisy I didn't want to use my phone. Anyway, I have one and I'm gonna unbox it right now. Here's the Surface Pro 4 in the box. Here's the type cover that I bought, and then the extra Surface Pro pen tips. There you go. And there it is. It feels so light. There's the kickstand that goes out so you can angle it. So here's the pen. Hey, there it is. Keyboard's really nice, it feels good. It's a little bit different than a Mac, so the tracking on the screen is just a little bit different for me to like get used to. But it's still nice, it's still really responsive, and then I can actually tap the screen, which is kind of cool. But overall, the hardware feel and everything like that is just what I thought it would be, and I really like it. I want to experiment more with the pen. My Adobe Suite just downloaded. You can start to hear the fan kick in just now. It does have pressure sensitivity, by the way, so if you didn't know that, you can press harder. I'm drawing on glass, but it doesn't feel like it's not jarring to do so. You can also zoom in. And another fun thing that I found out is when you want to name your layer, so double tap, it brings up this screen that's just a line. What you actually do is you can write on it, so if you want to, you can operate the whole thing with your pen, and then you can just draw, just write the word sketch, and there's sketch. And then close that, and then you just named it Sketch. So far, my endorsement for using it for a drawing tool is good. I'm coming from using a regular iPad mini, and so far, so good. Alright, look what I found, my man. Hello. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
John and I decided to replace our laptops. I got a Surface Pro 4, and John got the iPad Pro.
Can I just mess around?
Yeah, let's switch.
Alright. I know you've seen these before. This is my first time seeing one of these though.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's nicer already. Oh, and you can adjust the angle too.
Right. You can go all the way down like to like the easel level.
Do you like ergonomics of this? So much.
Yeah, it's nice.
It just has one angle. So if you're like lying down in bed or something, like you can't see it.
While I do like the Surface, I'm using it mainly to draw and to do comics and stuff like that. This is good for me now, but I think down the line, the touch software will be better and better and better to where you're not going to need that kind of stuff. You can click the button on it on the bottom. So like,
oh, this thing?
Yeah, and it will launch OneNote.
Oh, cool.
So then you can just like...
I can draw it?
Yeah. Okay, and then if you double click the pen, it will do a screenshot and you can mark up what you want. So you select a region first.
Oh, whoops.
And then let go, and then now you can mess around with it. Yeah.
Cool.
If you hold it down, it will launch Cortana and you can talk to it.
What should I do today?
Sorry, the internet and I aren't.
Oh, it's not online. Yeah. Now you can lean that thing all the way down to being like an angle to draw on. And I feel like that, I love it, but then I think anytime I kind of have to interact with Windows, I'm like, Is the iPad Pro any different than the iPad? Besides the fact that you have a pencil and whatever?
Well, probably not, no.
What do you use the pencil for? I'm curious.
Messing around in the drawing apps.
Because like, you don't use it to interface with it, you only use it for drawing, right?
Yeah.
I think the thing about it is like I'm familiar with iOS, but having no file system is like I can't do that right now. I think later I'm gonna sound like a dinosaur, but I think right now, if I'm thinking strictly productivity, like I can't do it without one. Yeah, good luck. because I don't know if I'm gonna like it either.
You have a camera on the back of yours? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, it's been about a week and I've had the Surface Pro 4 as pretty much my main computer, but primarily to do drawing on. And I'm going to return it. I found out the hard way that this is not for me. I've had a bunch of problems with it. It's kind of buggy. Sometimes it doesn't turn back on. The keyboard is a little clunky sometimes. And it's just weird because you could try it for a little while and you'd be like, oh, this is great. Like, it's really fast and whatever. But when you use it in the real world, at least my experience, I just keep running into little roadblocks. At first I was like, oh, you know, it's just the Windows environment. I'm not used to it. So I was making excuses for that. Some of that is true. But sometimes it'd be very obvious things. Like I would put the Surface to sleep and I'd try to turn it back on and it wouldn't turn back on. Things like that where I'm like, it's a brand new machine. Things like this should not be acceptable. And I've heard of other people having this problem, so it's just a problem with them. Really what I bought it for was a portable, sleek drawing tablet so I could use full-blown Photoshop on it. Lo and behold, I was wrong. Let me give you an example of my normal workflow. I draw a weekly comic called The Pillow Fighters, and I currently draw it using an iPad. And I use the app Procreate to draw it. My workflow in a nutshell is I'll draw something in the iPad, I'll export it, I'll airdrop it to myself on my Mac, and then I'll finish up the comic on Photoshop. So obviously that's like a little bit more steps than I would want. Here's the stuff that I found out while A/B comparing both of them. So I have the Surface Pro 4 here with Photoshop, and I have the iPad mini here with Procreate. Here's one thing off the bat that I noticed that was difficult by comparing the two. I am using full-blown Photoshop here. This is a touch display, but it's made for a desktop computer. It's made for a mouse, right? So things like zooming in and zooming out are sometimes responsive and sometimes not responsive. So the ways around that would be, well, I can just go and use the magnification tool instead. But, you know, when you're drawing into a touch display, you just want to be able to, like, take it and move it. Versus on Procreate, since it's an iPad, one of the best touch displays out there, I can just go in and move it around and twist it around. And I actually do work this way. I twist the drawing around all the time when I want to get in closer. So that's one of my gripes, is that I can really fly using the iPad, but it's a lot clunkier doing it on the Surface, and that's just because it's Windows and it's for a mouse and it's not intended to really do that. Because I started drawing digitally on the iPad, it just feels more natural to me to do that. And I think going forward, more and more people are gonna find it more natural to interact with the computer that way. I actually really like the Surface Pen, but again, it's sometimes it's clunky. Like I try to do the Cortana thing sometimes, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't mean that it doesn't understand me. I mean that it won't do anything. One day I was trying to ask it questions, and I was trying to get to websites or settings, I can't remember, and I would ask it something and it would just write the word ha. And it would do that over and over. It would just write ha or ha ha. What I'm trying to get at is that unless I bought like a straight up lemon of a machine, I expect it to be fast. I expect it to be responsive. I expect it to get out of the way so that I can work. And I'm not getting those things, so that I have to return it. It's just not for me. And I just wanted you to know that if you're in the same boat where you're trying to find a cool drawing pad solution, take a look at the Cintiq, the Wacom Cintiq. That's kind of what I'm going to end up probably doing. If you want to draw directly into Photoshop, real full-blown Photoshop for the desktop. We're in the age of the iPad Pro now, so maybe sooner or later down the line, I'll be able to draw completely in the iPad Pro and do layouts in the iPad Pro and design the entire comic or artwork in the iPad Pro. But today I can't. I just wanted to give a little recap that I was super excited to use this device. I thought it was going to be really cool, and it was cool for about like half a week, and then I started to just notice that I was really trying to compensate and make up for the fact that it was bugging out on me, and that I was not getting used to how crappy and clunky it was. It sucks. I really wanted to like this thing. I really did. I think this is awesome. Like, this design is so nice to be able to do that. That is so cool. This keyboard could be so cool. Like, as hardware, it is very cool, but as actual like using it, sometimes it works and sometimes the click doesn't work. Anyway, if you're watching this and you're kind of bummed out or you disagree, leave a comment below. Take my word for it. This is what I've experienced with this machine. Buy one yourself if you want to try it. If you buy it at the Microsoft store, you don't pay a restocking fee to return it, so what do you have to lose? I will see you in the next vlog.